What's up, everybody? Today's episode of our Sweat the Bet educational series is called How to Take Advantage of Sportsbook Promos, guys. What is up, everyone? I'm Andrew Kim, aka the Parlay Doc, with my co-host here, Matt Modi. What is up, Matt?
What's up, Andrew? How we doing?
Good, man. So Matt and I, we are the co-hosts of the Sweat the Bet podcast brought to you by oddsjam.com. We're the hosts and the main content creators of the Sweat the Bet YouTube channel. So basically today we want to highlight the fact that there are some really sweet and good promotions and specials that you guys as sports bettors, whether you're beginners, intermediate, or advanced, really need to be taking advantage of. Now, the myth out there, and you've heard this on social media, is people say that these promos and specials, they're traps, they're for suckers. To be clear, we're not saying bet every single special. Okay, that's not where they're not all going to hit. Okay, but there's ways to be smart and leverage these promos and specials. And we're going to go through about 5 examples of how to take advantage of these guys. So let's just dive right into it. So number one, some promotions and specials are legitimately free money. That's right. I said it, free money. And if you don't take advantage, you're just leaving money on the table saying, no, thank you. I don't want cash. And that just makes no sense, guys. Okay. So here are some examples. We talked about this in a previous episode about our mistakes for new sports bettors. This would be a mistake to not take advantage of some of these specials. Like, they have promotions. Basically, guys, they just want engagement. They want people to get excited saying, I'm going to get a free $25, a free $50, sometimes even $100, because they just want people to hype it up, tweet about it, share it with their friends so they can also get their friends who don't have accounts to sign up. Okay, so it's basically free PR from them. They're budgeting this to be almost like the money they would spend on a traditional TV commercial or a social media ad, is just word of mouth, free advertising. Okay, so what are a few examples? Like in the football season, in the NBA season, which is right around the corner, there are going to be things like on DraftKings, for example, the hammer the over or like hammer the spreads. Okay, and what that means is they're going to say, look, this is a special promotion. Everyone in the public who starts betting, let's say the over on some total in a football game, and say the over is currently set at your traditional line of 42 points, let's say. And they say that every 1,000 people who bet this over with the special promo, we're going to lower the points gradually to the point where by the time the game starts, sometimes the over is 3 points or 1 point, meaning literally, unless the game goes scoreless, this bet will win. Like, that is a concrete example, meaning they're just giving away money. Granted, there are limits. Like, they'll say a limit is 50, 25, whatever, but it's free, guys. Literally free. This is an example of, I don't know how anyone can say this is a trap or it's for a sucker. You're a sucker if you don't take the free money. So that's one example. So Matt, let's go to example number 2. What do you got for us?
Sure. Yeah. And just to highlight one point on yours that I think is important. I think the skeptics and people say, well, if it's literally free money, why would the sportsbook do this? Why would DraftKings do this? Why would FanDuel do this? And like you said, A, it's free marketing, it's free PR. And B, it gets users on their app. If there's someone that might not have a lot of money in FanDuel or DraftKings, they don't use it that often. Well, guess what? They just got a free $50, free $100. They're going to start using that app more when they previously weren't. So it's not necessarily like, they're trying to take advantage of people. Like Andrew said, it's free money and they want people to be using their books, which is why they're offering it.
Exactly, guys. And they're not being benevolent either, right? So like, let's be real, because they know that if they get you on the app, and you weren't a user before, now you're probably, some people might be like, oops, I won, I'm going to withdraw. But I'm going to tell you, most people are going to say, well, let's keep this rolling.
Exactly.
And you're going to bet more. And in the long run, sportsbooks have the edge, right? So in their minds, it's just a matter of time and they're going to make their money back on the VIG, right? So, but take advantage of it. There's no reason to not take advantage of it.
Exactly. And that brings me to my next point. Something else that sportsbooks do that you can take advantage of are odds boosts. An odds boost is where FanDuel or DraftKings or whoever will pick a play or a multiple plays like a parlay, and they'll boost the odds from like plus 100 to plus 150, something like that. They'll give you better odds than what you would normally get on that individual play without the odds boost. Now, there's a couple of things. Number one, not every single odds boost is going to be something that is worth playing. So sometimes, yes, they might be trying to bait you into a play that's not positive EV. But what you can do in using the OddsJam tools is if it's a parlay, you can find out the true line, like Andrew mentioned, without the VIG, and then put the individual plays into a parlay and see what those odds are. If the play with the VIG removed on everything is better odds than what the sportsbook is offering, that is the definition of a positive expected value play. So I know that probably sounds kind of confusing. We have some videos on the OddsJam YouTube channel, the main YouTube channel, that tell you how to devig an odds boost to figure out whether it's profitable or not. I'd recommend checking that out. Another best practice is to make sure that you line shop on other books to make sure that it actually is an odds boost and that you can't get better odds on another book. Andrew and I have seen this a ton, where you'll see a book like Bet Rivers boost something to plus 170, and then you go to other books and they're either all offering it at plus 170, or you can even get better odds on another book. So that stuff's definitely important. But overall, if you just want to see what all the odds boosts are on sportsbooks on one page, you could do that if you just go to oddsjam.com, check out betting tools boosts. It literally lists what every major sportsbook has, the odds boosts for that day. But just to recap, odds boosts can be positive expected value. You just need to find the true line of what the play would be individually, and then find out whether that's better odds than what the sportsbook is offering or not. If yes, then that's positive EV and should absolutely be taken advantage of.
Cool. All right. And that's a good segue into the next point. So another way that you could take advantage of these promos and specials, it's still related to the one that Matt was talking about. Let's say there is an odds boost, right? And you're like, cool, I did my research. It truly is positive EV. It's very good value, but I don't know, I'm just averse to risk. Well, that's a problem in sports betting, but let's say you're a more conservative sports bettor, right? There is a way to then see, it's not always possible, but you do your line shopping, you do your homework, you can use an odds boost special where they just kind of artificially boost the odds. And if there's enough of a discrepancy in a two outcome scenario, like a money line, etc., you can actually create an artificially created arbitrage opportunity. So for those of you who are not familiar with the term arbitrage, it means the odds are so discrepant or different on two sides of a two event outcome that if you bet both sides, you can literally just make money. Like you can't lose. Like both of them are like, let's say plus odds enough that you could literally bet both sides. It's not going to be a huge percentage, but you will just win money and you can't lose. So I'm going to give you a quick example. Let's say, just making this up, the Bears are playing the Lions, and let's say the Lions are minus 120 and the Bears are, let's say, plus 130. Okay. And let's say there's a weird Detroit odds boost. And they're like, now for today, for Detroit folks, Detroit is plus 120. Now you get a plus 120 on Detroit, plus 130 on the Bears. You're getting plus money on both. And again, it's not going to be a huge percentage, but you can't lose. Literally, you cannot lose by betting both sides, basically. Okay. We have arbitrage calculators on oddsjam.com. You can find arbitrage calculators everywhere. Plug in the odds, plug in how you need to divvy up the money, and it'll tell you what your guaranteed profit will be. Granted, some of these boosts are going to have limits, right? So you may not be able to bet a ton. Everyone has different limits. It might be 50, it might be 100. Some people, if you get lucky, you could bet like 200, 250 at a time. I've had the privilege of doing that here and there. So the only tip I have, though, is when you're doing arbitrage, bet the other side. Don't bet both sides on the same sports book. Make sure you split it up. One is on one sports book, one is on the other. It's not illegal. It's just frowned upon. Sports books will say that maybe that violates their policies or fine print. They don't want you doing that both side type of betting on one book. So make sure one's on one book, one's on the other. But that's another way, not just getting better value with odds boost with positive EV, but you can literally find arbitrage opportunities. Free money, guys.
Free money. It's hard to turn down free money. So the next one is there are other promotions on sportsbooks. So we're specifically talking other than odds boosts, like risk-free same-game parlays, risk-free parlays. Specifically, FanDuel does a promo called Dinger Tuesday. That's really popular. These can be really good opportunities to basically you're taking advantage of something where you're basically putting down a lottery ticket. And if it hits, then you get all of the winnings. If it loses, then you get a free bet worthy of whatever you risked. That's kind of the best way to describe it. So for the risk-free same-game parlays or parlays, basically what the sportsbooks normally do is they'll give you like they'll have a 3-leg minimum. So you have to bet 3 individual plays in a parlay. They'll normally have minimum odds of like plus 300, plus 400, something like that. But basically, if you risk $10 on a parlay or a same game parlay and it loses, they'll literally give you a $10 free bet. So in your account, you have a $10 free bet. So the best way to take advantage of those, in my opinion, is just to find positive expected value plays on OddsJam that are for minus money, and then just combine those together. I only do the limit or the minimum of what they are giving you in terms of the terms of the parlay. So if it's minimum 3 legs, I'll only place 3 legs. If they'll only refund at $10, then I'll only place it for $10. Yep. But that could be a good way if you hit one of those to really build up your bankroll. And if you lose, then you just get that same amount in a free bet. So you're really not losing anything. Dinger Tuesday is a similar promo where you're just betting on a player to hit a home run. If he does, you get the winnings. If he doesn't, you get $5 for every home run hit in that game. So again, best practices, just find a positive expected value home run for a player to hit a home run. You can do it in multiple games. And if you place like 3 or 4 and you get one player to hit, you'll be profitable most likely out of that scenario. So in general, just finding other promos, risk-free, same game parlays, risk-free parlays, stuff like that to take advantage of can be an easy way to build a smaller bankroll.
Yep. The people love Dinger Tuesdays on FanDuel.
They sure do.
Love it. All right, guys. And we're going to wrap it up with number 5 of how to take advantage of sportsbook promos. This one sounds so basic, but a lot of people don't do it enough. It's just take advantage of deposit matches. Now, look, read the fine print, okay, and read the terms and conditions. But look, some of the sports books, not all, some will literally not even have a playthrough requirement, okay? And they'll just say, we're just basically giving you a deposit match. I know that's not always the case, but when you run across those scenarios, sometimes if you play long enough on that sports book and they've noticed your action, maybe you're hitting a cold streak and you're going low, they'll just basically want to make sure you're still engaged. And they'll just say, here's a deposit match, okay? Not in some weird free bets and with some 10 times playthrough requirement. And again, if you're planning on playing, right, why aren't you taking advantage of that? I know that sounds so basic, but sometimes be an expiration date or a time limit of when you have to do the deposit. Just take advantage, guys. Okay. Now let's say there is a playthrough requirement. Okay. We're not going to get in today, but if you want to take it to the next level beyond kind of introductory sports betting, in a future video, we will go over one of the tools on oddsjam.com, one of the low hold tools. And basically, to keep it simple, this will help you find ways and certain bets to take advantage of to kind of play through the playthrough requirement, almost risk-free, basically, okay? So that you can just make sure you get through the playthrough to unlock your bonus, to unlock your deposit match bonus, etc. So there are even ways to do that if there is a playthrough requirement. So stick around, and if you want to learn about that, subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're going to have future videos on that. So anything else, Matt? Any other last thoughts about other ways we can take advantage of sportsbook promotions and specials?
No, I would say just kind of get rid of the mindset where you're thinking sportsbooks they're trying to take advantage of you. Stop being skeptical. Really, their own goal is to get more users and to get active users. So that's their entire goal of these promotions and odds boosts and stuff. It's just to get users and have them be active.
Yeah, again, guys, look, this whole concept of beating the books, the well-established books, they're going to stay in business and they're making money by charging you a VIG or a tax. Okay. So they just want action. That's their goal. Is they don't want to scare customers away. They want as many customers as possible.
Exactly.
Because the more customers they have, they can balance out the odds any which way they want. So yes, that part of the business you can have some criticism on, but bottom line is they're doing this to attract you to use the books, guys. So when there are angles where you can kind of take advantage, get some free money or get that edge back, stick it to them that way. Just get some free money back.
Yeah,
get your money back. You're bound to lose it at some point on some bets. So why not re-up a little bit? Exactly. So hope you guys like this, guys. Join me, Parlay Doc, aka Andrew Kim. I did it in reverse again. And then Matt and my buddy Matt here. Subscribe, like, support us, guys. Sweat the Bet YouTube channel.
Thanks, guys.